It's dark and the Geek House is blue, and tonight is starting to sound like what I did last night leading to the stream. Hopefully the stream tonight is different than the one we had last night, because last night was just, forgot I can't do that. Yeah, stay this high. Yeah. So, what is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. So, I have a bit of a problem when it comes to streaming. One of them is that my old YouTube experience kicks in, and I start treating streams like YouTube videos. I've had this thing for years where I would make a video and I would think it was not good enough and I just never upload it. The streaming version of that is that I'll record a stream, even if it's with the intent of it doubling as a YouTube video later on. I will record a stream, and then afterwards I'll be like, that's not good enough, delete it. So folks see it live, yay, they see it live, otherwise they don't see it at all. So I just don't think it's good enough. We talked last night about the need for YouTube to revamp its monetization system in this day and age where YouTube is chasing after Twitch in terms of more revenue sources besides advertising. And I think that would be better off as a video, quite frankly. I made the slides and everything. We're not going to do any slides tonight because we're looking at the Stream Hatchet Q1 2021 report, which dropped earlier. But it's just one of those things where part of 2021, and why don't we just load up Twitter? Why don't we just load up Twitter and link up a web browser to it? Part of what I'm doing in 2021, part of what I'm doing in 2021, and part of what creators need to do in 2021 is decide what they want to stream and what they want to make videos about and where they want to do everything. Because if so many people are involved in multiple forms of social media that I think this idea isn't really that foreign of a concept. You know, you'll have your videos here, your streams here, you'll do this on this platform, you'll do that on that platform, you'll have pictures there. Anywhere you go, anywhere that you set up shop. And so, let's take a look, for example, let's link up browser. It went straight to it. Nice. Glad I remembered it from last time. This is an idea that I want folks to keep in the back of their heads as they approach content creation this year. Streaming equals quantity and videos equals quality. So, streaming is quantity, videos is quality. Streaming is good for stuff that's quick, stuff that's informal, hanging out with your audience, doing this, doing that, but it's not good for stuff that is made for the long haul that can be crafted from scratch. We've said that numerous times. And then videos, on the other hand, they'll take longer to make, they'll be slow as molasses. However, they'll be better in the long run because they're built to last, as opposed to just winging it off the cuff. This is an idea that exists in other forms of media as well. You're talking about, for example, with television, the difference between produced, taped, as it sometimes is still called these days, syndicated television shows versus live TV. With music, you're talking about your studio albums versus your gigs, your live shows, your concerts, and your tours, and even live albums are kind of a hybrid of the two. With all of these, why is my profile picture so fuzzy? Oh, I haven't zoomed in so much. Maybe it won't show up in the stream, who knows? But I look like, I look like a JPEG from 2001 on here. Well, anyways, yeah, so music, there's the split with music. There's the split with television. There's the split with all of this type of stuff. All this type of media. And it's not going to be any different for online media either. Even just this video stuff. So streaming equals quantity, videos equals quality. Now, here's the interesting part. If I bring back my cursor here and move a few windows around, as I've got a goofball setup like this. Here's an interesting part with all of this. Some of the problems that people have run into on one platform or the other is the result of blurring these two together or going from one kind of towards the other. So I'll tell you what a classic problem is on YouTube. Videos are better at evergreen stuff. Videos are better at quality. You want to make a good video, not a fast video. And yet there have been formats on YouTube that have tried to take YouTube in the direction of what streaming is today. Certain video formats tend to do this kind of stuff. So you've actually had people take videos in the direction of what streaming is better at. And one of the earlier versions of that was committing to an upload schedule. YouTube isn't good at uploads always being on Tuesdays and Fridays or whatever. YouTube is good at when you upload, it is good. It is worth watching, and people want to keep coming back. There's all these rumors year after year about the algorithm preferring regular uploads, and yet there have been channels like Greenham Gaming, for example, that sometimes have only uploaded one video a month or one video a year and still done perfectly fine. People still respect the name Greenham Gaming, even if months go between his YouTube videos. Why? Because when he does upload, people know it's going to be good. And you have no excuse. You have an editor. You have time on your side. You don't need to be locked in front of a camera in one big, long take, essentially. Gotta watch it with that. You don't have to be locked in front of a camera for hours every single day. You can proceed at your own pace, and you can make it really good and really worth watching. There is no excuse. And then in the other direction, if you're trying to do too much with streaming, like what I see with some of these younger millennials over on Twitch, who act like, at least, that they think that streaming is some kind of replacement for making videos. It is not. Hybrid streaming is cool. If you're like me, you don't have anybody hardly watching your streams, so you want him to double his videos afterwards. But if you're the kind of person who has an audience with streams on Twitch or whatnot, it is foolish to think that streaming replaces videos. They will be more off the cuff. You can't edit stuff. You can't rehearse stuff. You can't do takes. There are lots of things you leave on the table when you stream, when you should be making videos. So this is something that we need to keep in mind when it comes to how people proceed in 2021. What do you stream? What do you make videos about? Where do you do what? And I think I have an answer for that. Streaming is quantity. Videos is quality. You'll get more stuff online faster with streaming. You'll get better stuff that people want to watch for longer with videos. Just comes with the turf for those two formats. So the Stream Hatchet Quarterly is out. I have it loaded up in Microsoft Edge. Live game streaming trends for Q1 2021. It's the precursor to the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet collab that comes out every quarter that I get all of my numbers from, where I crunch those ratios like the audience ratio and things along those lines. But let me load up Excel. Let me look at the Q4 2020 results just to compare them for the major platforms. Now let's keep that ready for a little bit later on, because this report actually serves whatever. This report actually will serve. Let's hook up Microsoft Edge while we're at it. This report will actually serve as the precursor. Maybe I should have done this before taking everything off to page 2 here. This report actually serves as the precursor to the collab report that comes out every year, or comes out every quarter from Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet. The one thing that this is missing is the hours streamed. So we're going to take a look at this. There isn't too much that I'm really concerned about with this. However, one of the big things that I'm seeing from some of these numbers, assuming I didn't mix something up here, one of the big things that I'm seeing when it comes to these numbers and what platform to be on and what to do with what and blah, blah, blah. One of the big things I'm seeing is just this whole idea of, I talk about how these platforms are businesses. They're corporations, they're big companies, in many cases big tech companies like Facebook, Google, and Amazon in the case of Twitch. And they all have their own corporate goals. They all have their own business decisions that they've made as corporations. When you get involved in one of these platforms, you are in some ways mixing yourself up in the decisions that the business has already made. Now, what I see from these numbers when I look at them is that Twitch is continuing to really do well with streaming, even though their support for video is abysmal at best. Streaming is clearly the number one thing on Twitch. It's the number one thing they focus on. It's the number one thing that they design around. It is absolutely something. Videos are an afterthought on Twitch. They have no place whatsoever. They have no place whatsoever in the long-term strategy other than they're there. So when you get involved to become a Twitch streamer, you're wrapping yourself up in the decisions that Twitch has made in terms of how they run their platform. Let's go back to Avast Secure here with the regular browser. Here's my Twitch channel. Now, there's a nice new design to go along with what's going on with Twitch and their focus on live streams. But notice what's available in the top. Keep in mind, the more clicks, the less people do stuff. You come to my channel, you get the channel trailer, which is a shortened 1-minute tops version of the trailer that I have on the YouTube channel. What's also available is my latest stream. In this case, one of the ESO streams from earlier. The replay of that will play for you. There's also, if I'm hosting somebody, like right now it's Jay Streezy, and we'll pause this. Jay Streezy, he's an IRL streamer. He streams from Vietnam, and he has a lot of beach stuff in his streams because he's near the coast over there. So, but here's, if I'm auto-hosting somebody, they show up here. And if I made a highlight video, in this case, the last highlight I made was actually what became the ever-popular YouTube short and TikTok video of Lauren just missing that Harrow storm. This was the original recording that was sent over and made into YouTube short and a TikTok video. So you have that. So you have channel trailer, latest stream, replay, of course, aka the VOD. If I'm hosting somebody, it's there, and if I made a highlight, it's there. But what is not represented on this in this UI is anything related to uploads. Where and what about the uploads? Close that out. Here's the uploads in my video producer. So here's the uploads in my video producer. Let's make this a little bigger. So see if I can, there we go. Make it nice and big. Jumbo size text. There's a thing about copyrights in your channel, right there. Here's the uploads that I have. We have the 2021 Overture, the Twitch edition, etc., etc. Guild Wars 2 is fun again, but you only have watch buttons. If I click this, I can edit them, but if I edit them, it just edits the upload, I think. So let me try editing. Let's see. Let's pick something to edit here. Guild Wars 2 is fun again. Let's try editing that one. That pops open. Oh, okay. Thumbnails. Oh, it's got like covers and basic information and and some of the stuff has been changed over because this has been on Twitch for years. But there's next to nothing you can do with uploads except watch them. There is no, you can't even trick the system by making a highlight out of uploads to turn them into highlights so they will show up on your main channel page. This is the near uselessness of video on Twitch. And this is also my archive of the failure of Twitch's last experiment with uploads. Algorithmically, uploads were shut off. So we go back to 2016, Let's Cheese the Holy Hammer Quest, a World of Warcraft video that I brought over after upload support was announced before it was gated behind affiliate status. The thing is, though, even in this day and age nowadays, where your videos are, where uploads are gated behind affiliate status, even when you become a Twitch affiliate, you can upload, but don't expect much to happen. I think it would probably take, well, I could say that I could get around this by embedding these Twitch videos in blog entries, but the embedding for WordPress isn't up to snuff compared to YouTube and even Dailymotion. It's just nuts. So yeah, videos, terrible, terrible support on Twitch. But look at how these videos got shut off. I speculate about YouTube doing this to YouTubers. But look at this. 48 views, which was pretty decent given it's a gaming video. That's on par with the kinds of views I used to get on my gaming videos back then. 39, 25, 122 for my intro video to Twitch, which was an upload and not a stream. 28, 24, 66 for one Tamriel, my story thus far, from back when I first got into ESO. And then by the Crew 2, A Lovable Mess in March of 2019, only 3 views. Views were complete. Forza Horizon 4. Popular game. 2 views. Yeah. What more evidence do we need that video functionality is all but deprecated? Excuse me, all but deprecated on Twitch. Look at this. Look at how the views got shut off. And around the time that this was going on, and Guild Wars 2 is fun again was my last attempt. 6 views. And then I received the email in, I believe, April of 2019 that because people weren't using it or whatever. Yeah, whatever, Twitch. You shut off the visibility and you never had good design for it anyways. It took too much work to even find someone's upload to watch in the first place. And Twitch people, by and large, oh, hi, Trisha is a birdie, whatever. And, you know, people were not conditioned to go digging around for videos on Twitch. The platform, it's sort of designed for it, but the big thing is people just don't want to do it because they find plenty to watch just from all the streamers being live, usually the big streamers, unless they're watching their friends or something who are little Twitch affiliates with 20 viewers, you know. But there it is. So then I come back with 2021 Overture. This is the full version of the trailer, just like it was from YouTube, and it's only gotten 4 views. These 334 views on the channel trailer are because it'll play every time someone loads the darn channel page. So that's another thing too. I think you can F5 views out of these things if you really wanted to. That's been patched down on YouTube for a very long time. But there you go. So when you get involved on these platforms, you're getting involved in the platforms' business decisions. So when you get involved on Twitch, you're getting involved in the decisions that Twitch has made to focus almost exclusively on live streaming. And that is going to color how you view streams and how you view videos. That's going to color your experience on how you view those two formats. So here's the thing. YouTube and Facebook, the two chief rivals at this point, don't have the same problem. They have strong evergreen video support. YouTube more so than Facebook, of course. We know Facebook has its problems with the whole real names thing. But aside from that, if we just do YouTube versus Twitch, YouTube doesn't have to be a big streaming platform because it's already well established with other stuff. And that serves as a strength with YouTube versus Twitch. So let's fire up Microsoft Edge. Let's take a look at this report. I'm not really interested in too much except for the very beginning of it, mostly the numbers. Live gaming streaming trends for Q1 2021. So, streaming, as we know, it is doing incredibly well. Daily streaming hours watched increased 80% year over year. So, going into 2021, there's a lot of people watching streams. I talked about this before, that streaming is very mainstream nowadays compared to what it used to be. Now, here's what I'm interested in the most. Hours watched. This report routinely doesn't say hours streamed, so we got to wait for the collab between Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet in order to see those numbers. But here we are year over year, and look at what the lockdowns and the mainstream acceptance of online entertainment like this have done to streaming. So 3.2 billion for Twitch in Q1 2020, 6.3 billion in Q1 2021. Now, this is cool because on a year-over-year basis, if you do quarters to quarters, on a year-over-year basis, we see these platforms all having some growth in the last year. They've all benefited from the pandemic. Twitch the most, though, which is the lifeline for Twitch because Twitch doesn't have much to offer except for streaming, as we just went over with the abysmal, near useless video features over there, because streaming is what it's all about on Twitch. And Twitch streamers often think that way. That's why we have some of these really successful younger millennial streamers who, oh, I'm a streamer, I don't need to be a YouTuber. Checkmate Twitch marketing. That's how you get people to adhere to your product, especially when your product is unique in its weakness like that. Because YouTube and Facebook do not need to be strong streaming platforms. They're already good at something else. So, but they all had growth anyways. 1.1 bill, 20 to 21 versus 1.4 bill. And Facebook, 0.6 bill to 1.1 bill. As in billion. Billions. That's right. Now, it does get a little goofier, though. And this is where I think we're going to have to get experimental. Does my main screen capture still work? Let's see here. Actually, no, let's just flip between this and Excel. The problem with this, and let's load up quarter to show 2020. Let's go to Excel. Let's go to my Streamlabs Stream Hatchet Cruncher here. This is where I punch the data in from the quarterlies. Let's just double check, make sure it's loaded up for Q4 2020. So here we are. Q4 2020. Keep in mind these numbers are in millions, but for hours watched, Twitch So we got to divide by 1,000 essentially to go from millions to billions. So for Twitch, it would be 5.4, YouTube would be 1.9, Facebook would be 0.9. Ubook is an amalgamation of YouTube and Facebook. Not really important for this. But 5.4, 1.9, and 0.9. Now, if we flip back and forth between the numbers and the Excel, it's a bit hard to do here. 6.3 billion in Q1 2021 versus 5.4. 1.4 billion for YouTube in 2021 versus 1.9. So it's a decline in hours watched. Facebook 0.9 to 1.1. So growth on Facebook, decline on YouTube, and growth on Twitch. So is YouTube losing? We saw in the second half of 2020 that people streaming on YouTube backed off. And now we're seeing what looks like, we'll confirm this when the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet quarterly pops up. What we're seeing here now is the hours watched that is receding. The hours watched dropping. And so when we compare these together, we consider going from 1.9 to 1.4, you got to, oh, is YouTube failing as a streaming platform? No, not at all. That's why we're here today to make the very, very, very important point. YouTube and Facebook do not have to be strong streaming platforms because they're already good at something else. And if we go back to what I said on Twitter, with streaming equals quantity and videos equals quality, Facebook and YouTube have strong video offerings that can be very, very evergreen. You don't need to stream everything. And as a content creator on YouTube or even Facebook for that matter, especially with Facebook having support technically for pictures on your Facebook fan page, so kind of a mixing of sorts between multiple types of social media and actually a one-stop shop. If Facebook ever did something about the real names thing, they'd be a force to be reckoned with. No, seriously, let's think about it. Imagine if Facebook had a platform where real names weren't necessary anymore. They would have streaming, videos, pictures, text updates, and everything else you can put on Facebook. If they eliminated their number one weakness, which is the real names thing, Facebook would be a monster of a platform. Facebook could serve the purpose of your Instagram, could serve the purpose of your Imager. Many of the platforms that you may want to use as a multi-platform content creator, updates, pictures, even photo albums, things like that. You can do it all on Facebook. It's just that stupid real names thing. Imagine if Facebook let you have username. If Facebook ever allows user IDs instead of real names and gets themselves finally out of the MySpace era, it's going to be huge. And I think they'll be more of a competitor to YouTube than a lot of people might think. And hey, competition is good with this stuff. But imagine that. Imagine if you could have videos, streams, text updates, pictures, albums, one platform for it all. You want to talk an online presence? You want to talk an online persona? You want to talk, as some commentators do, about building a brand? Facebook would be amazing for that. But there's always something stupid these platforms are doing that's holding them back. Always. That's Facebook's weakness with the names thing. YouTube's weakness, of course, is the ways in which they could catch up to Twitch, but they don't. And an overuse of automated systems. And then Twitch, an overemphasis, they're the blockbuster video of online media. They found one thing that works, live streams, and they're just running that as far as it'll go. Succeeding now, but who knows how long that success is going to last. Because if I go back to these numbers here, and they're streaming numbers, which means fundamentally that the argument is loaded. This is very biased, because we're looking at streaming as though streaming exists in a vacuum on all three of these platforms. It doesn't. Streaming is a cool feature on YouTube and Facebook, but it's not as important as what those platforms are already good at. Twitch doesn't have that. Twitch is almost exclusively about streaming with some token video support that doesn't really do much. So Twitch has to go nuts with streaming. It's what they are. It's all they have. Twitch has to keep the ruse alive of being a Twitch streamer or whatever. YouTube and Facebook don't. They already have something else to bring to the table. Let's look at the rest of this report. If I just switch back to it here, let's look at the rest of the report. But this is the big one here, just noting that I think we're looking at a decline for YouTube, an advancement for Facebook, and Twitch is doing well, of course, but Twitch has its drawbacks. It's tempting to go into the biggest streaming platform, be like, yeah, I'm going to be a Twitch streamer. But so many people want to be Twitch streamers that I bet any money when we get in hours streamed, we're going to have some interesting ratio numbers. But we'll save that for when the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet report comes out. Let's look at the rest of this. Grand Theft Auto 5 with all the GTA RP has beaten out League of Legends in terms of most watched. And Rust made it on there too with Rust RP and stuff. Top influencers, XQC still doing really well. Orin Play, I recently found out, is from Spain. That tells me a few things about how he's cornered things with Spanish streamers and whatnot, because he is literally from Spain. You know, it's not just the language group, he's from the EU. So that's another discussion entirely. Valkyrie crushing it versus Pokimane and Pecora and Sad Dummy and whatnot for top gaming, female gaming influencers. VTubers, YouTube rules the roost with VTubers. Then you have esports events, Wall Street stuff with like GameStop, stuff like that. And it's all just a bunch of other stuff that kind of advertises Stream Hatchets as services. You want to check out the rest of the numbers in this report, head on over to streamhatchet.com. Be sure to download it. Stream Hatchet also has a Twitter linking to this report. Go follow Stream Hatchet on Twitter. Streamlabs is cool too. I'm now waiting for the Streamlabs numbers for Streamlabs Stream Hatchet so we can look at the ratios and see how they did for Q1, which that should be due out any day now, actually. This report comes out first usually, and it's a precursor to the Streamlabs Stream Hatchet one. But we'll revisit all these numbers when we come back to that. But it's important to remember, like I said, with quantity versus quality. Streaming equals quantity, videos equals quality. But this attitude, this idea is not a thing on Twitch, because Twitch really has next to nothing for videos. You have to stream everything. And so it goes back completely to what I said at the beginning of the discussion. When you decide to get involved in these platforms, you are invariably tying yourself up in their business decisions. Twitch has decided to be what they are. YouTube has decided to be what they are. Facebook has decided to be what they are. All of these companies could change things to be something even bigger than what they are, but that decision is up to them to make that choice. I still say Facebook would be a lot more formidable if they ever pulled their head out of the MySpace era and got rid of the real names requirements. If there was a platform, if Facebook became a platform similar to YouTube and Twitch, they'd be a very fierce competitor with everything you could have on your Facebook persona page or whatever. So I think the real names thing is the biggest issue. Either way, that's where I stand on all of this. So yeah, when you get involved in YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or anywhere, you got to think about what you're getting involved with, because in a way you are tying yourself in with the decisions that the company has made. And it takes the company deciding to go in a different direction for any of that to change. Something to keep in mind when you decide you want to get involved on one of these platforms. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.